Well, look, I know you're going to think this is trolling, but it's not. A buddy of mine reached out to me and said, Jaffe, it's getting easier to find the PlayStation 5s. Do you think it's worth grabbing one and dropping a boatload of money right now, or do you think I should wait it out? If you didn't have a PS5 already, would you jump at the chance? And I figured, both the Xbox and the PC and the PC and obviously, but the Xbox and the PlayStation have been out now. What are we going on? 2 years almost. And I figured this might be a good time to check in. How am I enjoying them both? Here's what I wrote them. And there's going to be a little clickbaity for some people because they're going to think I'm console warring. I'm not. I think what I wrote is justified and fair. And you tell me if you disagree with this. Like, am I missing some logic? Because I know a lot of people won't agree with this, but other than emotion, is there a logical piece that I'm missing here? Here's what I wrote. I says to my pal, oh man, that's tough because of the stream. If I wasn't streaming a show about games, I'd probably be happier with a Series X than instead of a PS5, assuming I had a PC already. Then I'd just be missing out on Sony first-party games day one. They are all, it seems, after all, dropping on PC down the line, and that line is getting shorter and shorter as the months roll on in terms of they're coming to PC, and they're coming to PC faster after they launch. I says, but I find a huge value in Game Pass, so I'd go with the X. The Sony first-party games are impossible to beat, especially if you love cinematic single-player games. But so far, there are just not enough to justify it over Xbox, especially if Activision is coming. But even if it doesn't, the acquisition doesn't go through, just Bethesda alone is worth not spending $70 every time you want to play a new Bethesda game or an id game or the new Indiana Jones game, etc. The controller on the PS5 cannot be beat, though. It is fantastic and destroys the Xbox controller that ships with the console. So there you go. 2 years in, I've had both systems pretty much day one. I love them both. I play them both all the time. But if I had to choose, and I had a PC, I would go Xbox for those reasons. If I didn't have a PC, then the choice becomes a little harder because I wouldn't want to miss out on those cinematic games from Sony. But man, I guess if I was really, really wealthy and or money wasn't an issue, which is sometimes the same thing, but not always, I would probably go with PlayStation if I didn't worry about money, because at that point, yeah, it kind of sucks. You got to pay $70 if you want the new Call of Duty. It sucks. You got to pay $70 to play Starfield, but it sounds like those games are going to remain. Maybe not Starfield, but most of those games are going to remain on PlayStation along with Xbox. And in that, if you don't mind dropping $70 while other people are only dropping, $15, $16 a month to get all those games, then at least you get, the new God of War, a new Uncharted, I'm sure is coming, etc. But assuming you didn't want to just blow the bank, or you didn't have tons of money in the bank, I would go with the Xbox. If you don't have a PC, if you don't have a PC and money's not an issue, get a fucking PC. If you only can get a console, I would go with the Xbox over the PS5. I hope that, I don't know if it helps anybody, but I'm curious though, because I know there's a lot of PlayStation First fans, and I know there's a lot of them that are much more articulate than just like they respond with emotion. Most of them do, or a lot of them do on here, but there are some that can say, yeah, Jaffe, but you're missing this point, that point, the other point. And I was curious if there's something I'm missing from telling my pal, but that's what I emailed him or texted him, whatever it is. And if there's any data I'm missing, hit me up so I can hit him up and he makes a wise choice. I appreciate it, fellas. Be well.